Hello friends, welcome. Friend, this video is going to be very interesting because I saw in the morning this article, and this article talks about certain reversal which the government of India has made under the pressure of property buyers. So what is this headline? The headline reads as follows. It's saying, facing a backlash over changes to capital gain tax on real estate, government relents to grant relief. Now what this relief is actually better than what the earlier regime was there even before this budget. So that is what I am going to talk about today, and I am going to empower you with a tool which will allow you to choose between the two tax regime which the government has now made available for the property buyers to choose. Means you can basically choose the tax regime which has been announced in the budget, where the indexation has been removed and the capital gain tax has been lowered from 20% to 12.5%. And you have the option to choose the earlier regime before the budget, where indexation was applicable, but you had to pay a higher tax of 20% on the profit of capital gain profit on sale of properties, right? So this is specifically with relates to properties, by the way. I don't think it is related to gold, because with the gold, the situation in the budget will persist, because this article does not talk about gold. I don't know whether it will be applicable to gold or not. But let's go with what this article says about property. Now friends, the problem is that how do you decide which tax regime to choose? Because this is a little bit of complex. So what I did was, after the budget, I created a matrix, and this matrix basically compares the old tax regime and the new tax regime, and it gives you a certain kind of way to evaluate which tax regime is going to give you more profit from the point of view of saving in outflow of taxes. This is the whole idea of this Excel sheet. Now what I want to do is that I don't want to waste time in explaining this Excel sheet, because I have a better option for you to make your decision to which tax regime to choose. So what I did, friends, in the morning I was working on this tool, which is a web-based tool, which I'm going to share a link which you can basically use by yourself, and then you can decide as to which tax regime is going to be beneficial to you. This is a web-based link. So I'm going to show you let me just take this out from the desktop, and you'll see that this is the address. So I'll just copy this and I'll paste this into a new tab, so that you can understand that as soon as you paste this link and then press enter, this app is going to pop up. Now this app is best, you can view it in desktop, but I think it will work in mobile also, but you will not get that kind of experience in mobile. So let's do this. Let me just take you through this app, how to use this app and how to make your decision. Okay, this is the whole purpose of this video, and I think you will find this very interesting. Now let's say, now this app has got the following option for you to choose. So you can select the year of purchase from this drop down menu. So any year of purchase you can choose. Like for example, I have chosen 2001, 2002, the year of purchase of your property. I can also make some changes based on some capital gain numbers in the earlier years also. That I will do later. I'm just putting a framework in place so that I can modify it later for purchases which has been made in, let's say, in 1990s, where the indexation numbers I have not incorporated in this app, but it is very easy to incorporate those numbers. But I will make those changes later. But let me explain how to use this app. So first, you can, using a drop down menu, you can choose any of the years, right? Whatever years that you want to, where you purchase your property, let's say. So let me first choose 2001, 2002. Then you have to enter here what was the purchase price. So I am assuming that you purchased a property, let's say for rupees 1 crore. I'm just making it up. You can change this number. And then what you can do is that you have an option to increment the selling price, because the default selling price, I am assuming that it is going to be 2 times that what you have purchased. Like for example, if you have purchased it 100 crores, 100 lakhs, which is 1 crore, then you are selling it at 2 crores, and those default number also can be changed by pressing this minus sign. Now the incremental change that you want to do in order to see how your selling price will impact your taxes, the steps can be varied from here. So you can say that I would like to basically make a change in step of 10 lakhs, right? So let's say 100 lakh was the purchase price, and I'm making a step change of 10 lakhs. As I increment this, it will change by 10 lakhs, right? So if I want to make it 20 lakhs, then it will change by 20 lakhs, right? Whenever you increment. So what you have to do is that you have to press this button to increment. So there is one option is there, or what you can do is that you can just enter a number here. Let's say if I sell it on 5 crores, right? Purchase price is 100 crores and selling price is purchase price is 1 crore and selling price is 5 crore, because these are in lakhs. Now what you can see here is very interesting. So you can see there are 3 different lines, and every line actually has got a certain meaning. So if you look at this blue line, this is saying capital gain tax with indexation, which was the situation which existed before the budget. And there is a brown line which says capital gain tax without indexation. And then there is a green line which will become red depending upon the situation. A portion of it will become red, which says that saving with indexation, which basically means that whatever is the tax that you pay without indexation and the tax which you pay with indexation, if you net it out, what is the saving? Means if you had chosen the tax regime, which is the earlier tax regime before the budget, and if you went with that, and if you did not choose the tax regime which was announced in the budget, how much saving you will make if you have chosen that? That is the green line. Okay. So what you can do is that you can keep on increasing this. So because I just want to save time, so I'll put a number, let's say 700 here. Okay. So you sold the property at 7 crores. You purchased it at 100 crores. Still, you don't see much change. Let me just give you another number. Let's say 800 crores. 8 crores. Let's make it a little bit more, and let's make it 9 crores. Now, if you see, as you increase the selling price, as the selling price increases, what happens is that you will notice there are 2 things which are going to happen here. The brown line and the blue line intersects at a particular point, which is the value of that particular point is shown as 87.6 lakhs, which means that if you had sold the property at 8 crores, whether you chose the earlier regime or whether you chose the current regime, you will be neutral, means you have to pay a tax of 87.6 lakhs. That is what you have to pay, irrespective of which regime you chose. Now, if you had sold the property at a price which is less than 8 crore, which is on this side of the chart, between 100 to 800, any price you have chosen, then your tax outflow, right, which is on the with indexation. If you look at this, indexation is the blue line. Remember this, indexation is the blue line and without indexation is the brown line. So you will find that your tax outflow with indexation is going to be lower than the tax outflow without indexation, because the blue line is below the brown line, and therefore your gains are going to be higher with indexation, which is the green line, because if you look at this is the 0 line, the green line is at a elevated level compared to 0. But if you have sold the property greater than 8 crores, let's say 9 crores, then it is better for you to choose the regime which the government of India has announced in the budget, because if you had chosen indexation, then you end up making a loss because of this red line. For example, let's say if you have sold the property at, let's say, 980 crores, 9.8 crores, you purchased it at 1 crore and you sold it at 9.8 crores, then what happens? You end up paying a tax with indexation which is 1.23 crores, and without indexation you will pay a tax of 1.1 crore. So you end up saving basically 13.4 lakhs, 13.4 lakhs if you have chosen the government's budgetary announcement of removing the indexation and only charging 12.5% capital gain on the overall value of gain, which is without indexation, which means that the selling price minus the purchase price without indexation. So what this is telling us? This is telling us that higher the value of the property, higher the selling price of the property, the gains without indexation is going to be higher, which will be, so it will be profitable for you to choose the provisions which have been announced in the budget than going with indexation. But if the selling price is lower than a certain threshold, then going with indexation is going to give you more profit. Now let's choose any other year. So the best part of this particular tool is that you can choose any year whatever you want, and you can choose any price whatever you want. That will give you a very good decision point of deciding what regime to choose. Whether to choose a regime which was announced before the budget, which was there before the budget, or the regime which was announced in the budget, right? So let's say if you have chosen 2004-2005 and your purchase price is still 1 crore and your selling price, let's say, is 9, let's make it 1000 crore, make it 10 crore. Then what happens is that if you see that the inflection point is what? The inflection point is 6.9 crores. So if you are selling the property at 6.9 crores, if you had purchased it in year 2000, in the financial year 2004-2005, then whether you choose your earlier tax regime or you choose the tax regime which the government of India has announced, you end up paying how much tax? 73.6 lakhs, right? It does not matter. But if you sell it beyond it, let's say if you sell it at 8 crores, then you end up saving, if you have chosen the announcement which the government of India has made in the budget, then you end up paying lower taxes. But how much lower taxes? This you can see directly from here. You end up paying a tax of 87.5 lakhs, which is without indexation, which is the brown line, but with indexation you end up paying a tax of 96.4 lakhs. So without indexation you actually end up saving a value of 8.3 lakhs. So that is a very interesting thing. Now you can basically decide as to what value that you should be selling your property and what scheme that you should choose, what option of taxation that you choose in order to save your outflow. Because doing an Excel sheet might become very, very complex and very overwhelming. This gives you a bird's eye view and a visual view of deciding what tax regime you should be choosing, because this is a very interesting way of visualizing the whole thing. And I think it will be very useful to you. So you can choose anything. If you want to choose an year, let's say 2007-8, and then let's say if you want to decide and let's say choose a purchase price of let's say 2 crores, and then a selling price of let's say 4 crores, then you see which tax regime is going to be useful for you. What was the brown tax regime? The brown tax regime is without indexation, and the blue tax regime is with indexation. So here what you're doing, what you can see here, you are making a loss of 32.4 lakhs with indexation. So you will actually end up booking loss in your income tax statement, right? But if you had used the budgetary what was announced in the budget, which is capital gain without indexation, then you have to pay a tax of 57.4 lakhs, right? If you have purchased a property at 2 crores in year 2007-8 and sold that at 4 crores in the current financial year, right? So it is beneficial to use the indexation. But if you are selling the property, let's say at 8 crores, let's see what happens in 8 crores. Then what happens, you see that it will be beneficial for you still it is not beneficial for you to basically go with the budgetary provision, because the blue line, which is the capital gain without indexation, is still giving you a lower tax outflow of 47.6 lakhs, and without indexation it is 75 lakhs. So you have to still sell it at higher price. Let's say if I sell it at 10 crores, then you see, then there will be, still it is not there, right? So if you basically make it at 12 crores, right, then you see what happens. You see now you see that the benefit without indexation is more compared to what it is with indexation. So higher the price, so it is very clear now, higher the price in which you are selling a property, the benefit without indexation is going to give you a gain, and if you are going to choose indexation, it is going to be suboptimal, it is not going to be useful. That is what is coming out. So let's see that what is the inflection point. If you have purchased a property at 2 crores, and if you are trying to sell it at a higher price, the inflection point here is 11.65 crores. So if you are selling at 11.65 crores, then you end up paying a tax of 1.2 crores, irrespective of which tax regime you choose, right? But if you are going above this line, that's why you see that this line has become red, means that if you have chosen indexation, then you end up making a loss. It will be better for you not to choose indexation, but to choose the provisions which are available in the budget. So that is why this provision was made. This was unwinded because most of the property may not get sold at that high price. It will be sold at a price which might be lower than this dotted line in this side of this chart, and that would result in higher tax outflow. So this is what you can basically look at, and that's why it can be called as an unwinding situation from what the government of India has done. So there will be a lot of benefits to the property seller who wants to sell property and take benefit of indexation, which earlier it was not possible because the outflow would have been much higher than what normally you would have paid with indexation, in case if you have sold property below a certain threshold price, which is clearly marked here with dotted line. So you can make your own evaluation by using this tool based on which year you have purchased the property. Let me just give you one more example. Let's say if I purchase a property in year 2020-21 and I sell this property at a certain price, let's say 4 crores, 2 crores I bought the property and sell the price at 4 crores. Which tax regime is beneficial? Here you see, this is important, because if you are buying a property, recently you have bought in 5 years, right? And if you are selling at double the price, or maybe not double the price, let's make it at 3 crores and let's see what happens. No, it is still, if you are making it at 3 crores, then the situation is not going to be beneficial. Let's make it 3.5 crores, 350. So let's see what, So if you have bought the property at 2 crores in year 2021 and selling it at 3.5 crores, the benefit is going to be definitely without indexation. You end up making a gain of 2.9 lakhs, right? So friends, I think you probably understood it. I am going to share this link, in the description, and you can use this and you can make your own decision which tax regime to use in order to decide when you sell your property at a particular price, right? Thank you very much, friends. I'll come back to you with a new video next time. Thank you very much.